Okay, welcome back to another full self-driving video. The timing's good, it's just starting to sprinkle, so that'll add a little bit of complexity to the situation here. My goal is to make this a completely uncut video so that we can show the capabilities and current limitations of the autopilot system as they stand right now in version 8.2. So right now we are angled off, which I believe is allowing the fender camera to clear down to the left behind us, and it did a great job of clearing, and now we have a left turn across traffic. So the main reason I'm doing this video is just to kind of lay the stage for what people can expect once this goes to a wider public release. I just want everyone to understand that it's extremely amazing technology. Full self-driving does work, okay? Full self-driving it's not vaporware. This works. It's not perfect, but it absolutely, positively does work. However, it does still make mistakes in its current form, so you have to be completely vigilant at all times. But the thing I do want to emphasize is I've been using this since December of last year, and it's good technology. Yep, you see this guy? He just waved us over like this because we're like kind of driving in the middle of the road. So that is a strike against it, right? There's going to be a lot of situations where other drivers are kind of agitated by your presence, right? At least in the current form. The good news is stuff like that, I'm not a software engineer, but stuff like that, in theory, should be relatively easy to adapt to, right? Hey, we're on an unmarked road here, give more space off to the right. So in the scheme of things, that type of behavior, I believe, should be relatively easy for them to tweak, refine, and get better and better and better over time. As long as the perception system is picking up on everything, that type of driving policy essentially should be something that can be corrected. And a critique for myself, so here's another truck here. We could be further over. Here's a guy pulling out. A critique for myself is maybe I should be disengaging more. It's like right now, maybe I should disengage and pull further to the right because that would give a signal to the neural network that, hey, something wasn't quite right here. Next time we need to do this better. So that's a critique. It's kind of hard because you want to let the system do what it's going to do and see how it's going to do it. But I think ultimately in the scheme of things, the better action is to disengage, send that signal out that something was wrong here, let it get better. If thousands of people do that, eventually it's going to learn that, we need to give more room here. And I do that extensively for cyclists and pedestrians. If there's someone off to the right side here, 100% of the time, even if we're going to be, clear of them by 3 or 4 feet, 100% of the time, I will disengage and give the maximum amount of room possible. I think, like a lot of you, I'm an outdoor type person. I do a lot of cycling, and I believe this technology will save lives of pedestrians and cyclists, but I give the maximum room possible just to kind of trigger that to the system that it wasn't quite perfect and that something better needs to be done. So I think what you'll see me doing here with the next time we have oncoming traffic is I'm going to disengage just to help give that signal to the system. Okay, so here comes an unprotected right turn with high-speed traffic. I believe the speed limit's either 50 or 55 on this road. So of course you can expect the traffic to be doing, 10 over that. So I cannot see left. It's creeping. There's a bunch of brush and there's a guardrail. I can see now that it's clear if we go. If we go. Awesome, perfect. That was great. And now we just need to get up to speed so this guy doesn't eat us up too much. And I would say we did that successfully. Perfect, that was great. I didn't provide any input on that at all. There was a guardrail like this. There was a high guardrail. From my eye level, I could see essentially the top half of the traffic, and the B-pillar camera, and I assume could, kind of see approximately the same view that I could see. So that was very good. And then we have a right turn coming up here. If it were me, I would turn my turn signal on early, just to let the driver behind me know that I'm going to be slowing. We haven't turned the turn signal on yet, although the speed limit did decrease, it looks like. I think that might be erroneous. I don't think the speed limit's actually 25. That's a problem, is the speed limit stuff. Like, if it has an incorrect low speed limit, it's going to slow down, and people are going to get annoyed by it. Okay, so here we are, getting close to whatever random destination I selected. I don't believe we had any interventions on that entire segment. I don't think I did anything. So let's see what it does with this gate. might stop before we get there. Yep, it's going to end here. So we're done. We made it to our destination. Okay, in the interest of just uninterrupted videos, I'm going to select some other place. I'd like to force it through some interesting situations. Let's go to this this park here. It's kind of a nice park. And it's not going to be able to do the roundabout. Sorry, the cul-de-sac. So I'm going to help it get reoriented here on the cul-de-sac. Hit the pothole, and then, okay, we're back on. So let's see, it says about 7 minutes. Let's see what the path looks like. It's, you know, nothing too crazy, but we'll see what we can do. Once again, we have this road here with cross traffic. This is interesting because it thinks the speed limit's 25, so I don't know if it's going to be anticipating that the traffic will be doing close to 25 or not. So it's clear left. There's a sign that's blocking the way. It's clear. I can see it's clear. It should be able to see that it's clear. And we go. Okay, so that was really good. So I'm kind of noticing a little bit more of this angling behavior where it turns, you know, 30 degrees into the direction it wants to go. And I believe that's allowing the fender cameras to clear in addition to the B-pillar camera. It's letting the fender cameras look, you know, kind of aft to help clear for traffic. It seems like maybe it's doing a little bit more of that angling behavior than it used to do. I'm not quite sure though, but it's been working. It definitely could be tweaked a little bit to be a little bit more aggressive, but of course it can only be as aggressive as it can see, right? Okay, so it wanted to bite off on that turn-only lane. And just make sure you always hover the brake pedal, you know, when you have a situation where you need to stop. You can't trust the system to always stop for you, right? It's very good at it, but I would still never, you know, just be feet off. You should always be hovering the brake pedal. Really, even in a situation like this where we're falling fairly close. Another thing I've been, excuse me. Another thing I've been doing is playing with the follow distance. So typically, I always have follow distance set to 7 because I always figure that the more distance, the better. It gives you a bigger safety margin. It lets you see the lines further out. So typically, I always run 7, but I've been experimenting with closer distances recently. It's inconclusive so far. I could almost say that in a way I felt like it was better when it was closer, but it's inconclusive. I haven't done enough testing to say that's true yet. Let me click it down to 3, and I'll let it run there for the rest of the drive. Okay, we have a right turn coming up here at the light. One thing that I wish it would do on this bi-directional traffic type of road, I really wish it would justify to the right, you know, even 12 inches would help. Okay, so let's see here, we have a right turn, green arrow, and that was fine. Okay, we have some parked traffic on the right side here. This human driver is going over the yellow, which probably isn't quite necessary. Okay, looking good. This isn't especially busy. I mean, it's pretty easy. Park traffic, slow traffic. We have some traffic cones up here in the crosswalk area. It sees them. Okay, they're peeling off, and we're going straight. Okay, we have some traffic merging on here. One thing I've been doing with other traffic is I've been looking at other cars at their B-pillars and at their front fenders to try to gauge what it looks like from an outside perspective when traffic is in a certain location. So I'm trying to judge, can I see that car's B-pillars without its nose being, you know, way too far into the travel lane? That's just something I've been keeping my eye on a little bit. just to kind of gauge how my car might look in a similar situation. Okay, so right turn's coming up here. So far, no interventions. It's been safe and efficient. Okay, very good. Okay, it looks like we have a pedestrian on the sidewalk, which it already picks up that person way out there. That's amazing. Just how far away that person is, and it sees them and it's tracking them. I mean, we're talking 150 yards out or more. So that's great. Okay, obviously there's no traffic here. It's being very cautious, even though it's just two little stubs. But better safe than sorry. Okay, we do have a stop sign here for a pedestrian path. Okay, pet must be on a leash. I'm hoping the vision system picks up on that. Okay, and now we're at our destination. So that was another uninterrupted, no intervention drive. Relatively easy conditions, but a realistic drive nonetheless. So I'm going to go ahead and disengage, and let's find another location. I'd like to force myself to go through that roundabout once again. Okay, so here's that roundabout. Let's go downtown. So let's see if I can go right here. And how does it get us there? Okay, see, I want to go through the roundabout. So I will force it to go here first, and then we'll use the history to go to that other destination. Sorry if this video is running long. I might fast forward through some of the longer stretches, but I just want to show, you know, how it's working currently, version 8.2, in these type of situations. You know, pretty much small town, suburban streets. We're actually forced to go downtown on this next drive here, which is a lot busier. But yeah, I'm just doing an uninterrupted drive. If this video turns out to be, you know, 30 plus minutes long. Okay, we have a pedestrian here. She waved. I think that was a hello wave, not a move over wave. Yeah, so I'm just kind of, if this video is 30 minutes long or more, that's fine. I just want people to be able to watch it in its entirety and really understand how the system's working and what to expect. So I would personally be further over here. It's fine. We're safe. And that's going to be a big thing going forward, is personal preference. I mean, everyone has their own style of driving. Some people are much more aggressive, some people are much more timid. And the system is going to essentially not drive like you do. So if you're a timid driver, you're going to find situations where it's too aggressive. Likewise, if you're an aggressive driver, you're going to find a lot of situations where it's too timid. So really, it's not going to please anyone initially, because no matter what your driving style is, it's not going to be like you. And that's something you need to expect. It's going to be something you'll have to get used to and just kind of go with it. Just remember, this is amazing technology, and it absolutely works. Like I said in the beginning, this technology does work. It's not vaporware. This technology works, but it's not perfect. And also from a usability standpoint, I've been in the beta since December, and I would absolutely hate to lose access to the beta because I truly love using this feature. This isn't like Smart Summon, where you use it a bunch of the first 2 or 3 days, and you're like, oh, that's kind of weird. And okay, here's a roundabout. We stop for them. Perfect. And okay, we're going. That was pretty reasonable. Not too bad. Let's see how let's keep monitoring here. A little bit slow. We could go a little bit faster. I'm giving it gas. That was my first intervention. I just tapped the accelerator to force it just for, you know, a little bit. I only tapped it for about 1 second as that blue van was there, just to let it go. So that was my first intervention so far. And you'll find that common, that the most common thing to do is to nudge it to go when it doesn't want to, because it does a good job of being safe, but sometimes it needs encouragement to go in certain circumstances. Anyway, back to what I was saying. Like Smart Summon, it's cool and it works, and it's neat to be able to, you know, summon the car to you through a parking lot. But I think most of us probably don't use that very often at this point. Full self-driving beta is different. This technology does work, and you're going to love it. and you're going to use it all the time. It might frustrate you sometimes, but you're always going to come back. I promise. You're going to have situations where like, oh, that was stupid, why did it do that? And then you're going to go cool off a little bit, and you're not going to be able to wait to go back out again. Promise. Guaranteed that's how this is going to work for most people out there. This technology is amazing. We're in the very beginning of it, and it feels amazing to be here at this moment in time to be able to have this technology in front of you. Like right now, that was a little bit janky right there, right? I didn't disengage. Probably could have, and that would have been some kind of signal. Okay, use accelerator, waiting for our turn. I'm going to tap the accelerator once again. I'm off the accelerator now, just to let it know that it's safe to go. So that's the second intervention. Both interventions have been accelerator override. No actual disengagements, just interventions with the accelerator. Yeah, so continuing that line of thought, I'm convinced that people are going to love this. The people who are going to love it specifically are the nerds and dorks out there who like this type of stuff, right? If you just want something that works perfectly all the time, every time, you're going to be frustrated at first. You might have to sit it out for another, 6 to 12 months or however long it takes to continue to refine it. But if you're the type of person who just loves having new technology at your fingertips, you're not going to be able to put this thing down. You're going to be out there multiple times a day doing errands just because you want to see how full self-driving beta does. I've been doing this for over 3 months now, or almost 3 months. Actually, yeah, something like that. And I can't wait. Like on the weekends, I can't wait to get out there and drive this thing. Yeah, so that's kind of my opinion on that. I think a lot of people are going to feel very similar about it. Hey, we made it. Okay, I wasn't even paying attention to where we're going, essentially. I mean, I'm watching to make sure we're safe, but I wasn't paying attention to where we're going because the car was navigating for me. And we made it basically right to the pin there, so that's awesome. It does see a few people, which are not there. There's a statue over there. Okay, so it's misidentifying. It looks like a person. Okay, let's continue playing with the downtown area here. I'm going to have it go... let's have it go up into the park here, sports park. This should force us to go through some downtown area. This is a very not complicated, but it's kind of a difficult cross over railroad tracks at like a 60-degree angle. Then we're going to go through a roundabout and then to the park there. Okay, so we're clear behind. FSD Beta is on. That car's identified as red, which is parked. And now we need to get over here, right? Okay, cross traffic does not stop. We do have cross traffic from the left. This car, another one more behind it. It's going to be clear after this Jeep. I would go about now. And it hesitates another couple seconds. It's creeping for visibility. It's clear, and we go. Okay, so we have railroad tracks here. We don't want to stop on the tracks behind this Jeep. Looks like it's going to be clear for us. Okay, we kind of position ourselves in the middle. We are first. She's going, which is perfect. And that was my first real disengagement. Okay, so it started going towards that car. So I tapped the brake pedal. That was my first real disengagement. I think if we would have kept that trajectory, we probably wouldn't have hit. But that's a very unnatural thing to do, right? Like you don't just drive your car straight towards someone, even if it's going to be clear, by 18 inches or whatever. So I pressed the brake pedal, and that's a disengagement which gets registered, and then hopefully they can look at that and figure out how to make it not happen again. Okay, I tapped the accelerator there just to go through that intersection. Okay, so coming up here next is going to be kind of a difficult situation where we cross some railroad tracks at an angle. It's not very clearly marked, and there's some fairly dire consequences of getting it wrong because you're going to go off essentially and hit the rails. I've done this successfully before. So we go through, Perfect, okay. Not even a problem. It kind of like tried to find the line there. That was perfect. I have no real issues with that. So that was a great job. Next thing up here is going to be a roundabout. We're going to take the first exit to the right, which should be about the simplest form of a roundabout. But we will have to clear for traffic, and this one is very busy. There will be a lot of traffic here waiting for us. Okay, here's the roundabout. The truck's gonna beat us there. There is traffic behind us. We have a yield. It says use accelerator to continue, so I'm gonna do that. And I'm gonna tap the accelerator because we have some behind us. Okay, so not perfect. Just be ready to use the accelerator as required. It gave me a message that said to tap the accelerator or use the stalk to confirm. And I did that, and it started going, but then it slowed down. Okay, very good flow over into the turn lane. We kind of have a crest here. All the visibility's fine. There's no oncoming traffic, and we're going slowly but surely. And we get really close to the curb. Yeah, be careful on the curbs. I've been lucky so far. I haven't scraped them, but I do feel like I've been lucky. I think there are certain circumstances where it could potentially curb your wheels, and I don't want to have people do that. So better safe than sorry, and disconnect if you do see that. Okay, so we made it here. We did have the one disengagement. Where was that? In that turn at the intersection there. And I had a couple of accelerator overrides. So far pretty good. One disengagement. The accelerator overrides, I don't want to call them freebies, but the car is being cautious, and that's just kind of coaxing it along to make it, to get it to where it wants to go. Shoot, where should we go? Let's go, I don't know, let's just go here, random, right? Okay. So this is about a 5-minute segment. Kind of stop awkwardly back there. Checking for visibility. It is clear both directions. And good job. Okay, turn signal's on kind of early. Very good job following the drivable space here. Let's see if it does that angling behavior where it turns like 30 degrees. Okay, it's gonna be clear, so we won't have any issues. Totally clear. I can see it's clear. Very good. Perfect. Okay, for this roundabout, we're going straight through. Okay. Well, looks like it's going to be clear for us. So we have yield signs, no one behind us. We have this white car to the left. It says use accelerator, so I'm going to do that just to help it through. So I use the accelerator. I'm still on it. Still on it. Okay. So what I did there was I used the accelerator. Okay, I didn't like that. We were not exactly where we should have been, so I disconnected. Should have been further off to the right there. Okay, we have a green light up here. Yeah, I used the accelerator, and then I'd lift off and see what it wanted to do, and it still wanted to be slower. So I blipped it like 3 times, and each time I let off, I was essentially checking to see what it was thinking. Okay, so here we have kind of a blind crest in this intersection. The vision system, I mean, it's projecting lane lines that I can't see. Maybe I can, well, I basically can't see any paint up there that makes any sense. So these lane lines up here, these are projections on what it thinks is up there. The camera is higher than me, but I still don't think it can really see what's over there. So those are just projections. That's the amazing stuff that's going on behind the scenes in this technology. It's projecting what's up there. And me as a human driver, I can look at that and say, you know, that makes sense. That's probably what's up there. So that's amazing, right? Absolutely amazing. That's why this this technology, it's not perfect. I think most of us realize that right now, but it's so clear that they're on the right path for what needs to be done in order to make this work. And I feel like this is probably one of the strongest parts of it so far, is this bird's eye view and the projection of what's out there. I mean, this is the most important part. The driving policy is something that can be tweaked over time, but knowing this type of information is kind of key in order to drive. So let's see how it does here. So it's kind of projecting a straight line, which makes sense to me. There's a car behind us. Okay, it's green, and we go. And okay, I see the lines now. We kind of changed lanes in the intersection off to the right here, which was fine in this circumstance. However, if there would have been traffic coming from the right, that could have been an issue. I'm a little bit concerned about situations like that where it does something that's safe and okay, so that's trying to turn left from this lane. That's just straight wrong, right? Let's see. Yeah, that's not gonna happen. Okay, so snapshot there. I mean, that obviously never could have worked. So I'm driving manually now. Let's let it reroute. Okay, so that's just straight up wrong. We were in the wrong lane. There's no, you shouldn't even try, right? It should just bail and say, well, I can't make this, keep going straight, reroute. The fact that it even tried somehow is flat out wrong, right? If there would have been absolutely no traffic at all around me, I might have let it go to see what it could do, but there was traffic coming up from behind. This is very good, that turn there, I like that. There's traffic from behind, so of course I'm not going to play around and find out. Snapshotted. If I'm not doing a video, sometimes I have a little bit better memory as far as, I can say that was at 12:21 or whatever it was, and then I'll go back to Google Maps, find the location, and type an email off to the early access program and explain what happened there. The fact that I snapshotted should be enough to flag that, just so someone will look at it. Typically we don't ever hear back from the team when we send emails. We've just been told to, rest assured that the correct information is being collected. Okay, I've been out for about 47 minutes. I normally do these drives about, 45 minutes to an hour. That seems pretty reasonable. And it seems like it collects maybe 6 to 7 gigabytes of data in that time frame. Okay, so we're struggling. Okay, so I'm going to disconnect here most likely. Yep, I'm going to disengage and swing over here. I haven't used many snapshots, so I'm going to snapshot again. Okay, there's another disengagement. It was wanted to be too far left. Like right now I would be 5 or 6 feet further to the right. This doesn't feel too bad right here. Okay, stopping, use accelerator. This guy's going to stop, so I'm overriding. And now I'm off. So I honestly do believe that they are looking for that type of accelerator override input. I know it's safe there, so if I override the accelerator, that's helping provide that signal that it's okay to proceed. Okay, so we're clear here. It's creeping still, even though it's clear. It's clear, it's clear, it's clear. Very cautious. Too fast. No, too fast. Speed limit's 25. It sees it now, but 45 or 40 is way too fast. I have messaged the team explaining, like, hey, this system with this vision system, it needs to look and say, hey, there's houses here. What's a reasonable speed? Even with a lack of database knowledge or actual signs, I feel like it should be able to look at its surroundings, understand that it's a neighborhood, and then realize, given the type of road that I'm seeing, see, I didn't like that. We weren't going to hit, just to be clear, but I'm once again just trying to provide some signal to the system that that was too close and too sketchy. I wasn't worried about hitting even if I didn't take over, but it was just too close. Okay, we're stopping unnecessarily here. There's no traffic control, and we're kind of driving in the gutter a little bit. Okay, looks like cross traffic has stop signs. We don't. Very nice turn. And we're almost to our pin. Okay, we made it. A couple little issues there on that segment of the drive. It's not perfect, but I'm just trying to be realistic here and set expectations. Supposedly the new version coming out is going to be a lot better. This is already, I mean, this works. Like I've said several times, this does work. It's not perfect, but it absolutely works. This next version coming out, if Elon Musk is to be believed, you know, he said it has like 1,000 improvements or something like that. That sounds pretty impressive to me. We'll see what that actually means, though. It's totally possible that a lot of the rough edges could be, you know, smoothed out with one release. So we'll see. Okay, let's do one final drive. I know this video is long, but like I said, we're going uncut here, just to show what this thing does, what it's really like. Where to? Okay, let's go here to the mine. This is fairly close to where I live. Okay, looks good. 25 miles per hour. It's clear behind us. You know what? I like driving 20 in these type of neighborhoods, so I'll spin it down to 20. It just feels safer. Even though 25, I believe, is the actual speed limit. So like right there, that's close. We missed it, you know. There's no reason to be that close, though, when there's absolutely no other traffic or obstacles. It's better to disconnect in those situations if it is close, because it provides that signal to the system. Plus, you never know if someone's going to swing their door open. That's kind of on them, but at the same time, if you're too close, it's also on you, right? So really, you should stay outside of the door swing zone. That's just common sense knowledge there. Especially like cyclists. I think cyclists know never ride your bike in the door swing zone. Okay, so we were stopping unnecessarily. There was traffic behind us, so, and of course I got the hand up. I see that so often. I overrode there because it stopped unnecessarily. I do have my student driver magnets on today, so maybe he'll give me a little bit of benefit of the doubt. Okay, so it's clear left. Okay, no override there. And he's off my tail. Gotta love the solar installer signs popping up everywhere. Okay, it's an all-way stop, so we're pretty safe here. That's a reasonable distance from that car. I still personally would have been a little bit further away. And like right here, I wouldn't drive. We're fine, but I would be another 2 feet to the left, most likely. And that's where I say it's not going to drive just like you. You're going to have to get used to the fact that someone else essentially is driving you. And it's not going to drive just how you drive. So right now we are clear left, and we go. I've had trouble up here with it not being in the correct lane, which, as I say it, we go over into the correct lane. So this sets us up for success. That's a big issue I have with the current release of Full Self-Driving Beta, is it does not set itself up for success. It seems like it's not projecting out, you know, a half mile or a mile in the future. What's my next maneuver, and how do I set myself up for success in that next maneuver? Like right here, we're turning left in 0.1 miles. We need to be in the leftmost lane so we can get into whatever turn lane happens to exist, which we do pretty much fine. I would be a little bit different. There's no traffic around us, and that works fine. Okay, this is a single turn lane, and there's no one behind us, which is always nice. Okay, there's a green arrow. We typically do a great job with green arrows. bit. What are we doing? Okay, so I overrode with the accelerator there. Just kind of stopped in the middle of the intersection. So I let it, kind of do its thing, and then accelerated a little bit to keep pushing it on through. Last time I drove here, it kind of did a sudden jink to the left. Let's see if it does that. So it kind of like went jink to the left lane. Didn't do it this time. Although we are getting in the left lane, which is fine by me. It makes it easier for this merging traffic. Okay. So at this Ford dealer up here, up on the left, they have a Mustang Mach-E on the lot. So last weekend, I think it was, maybe the weekend before, I went over there and looked at it and actually got to test drive it. Overall, I was impressed by it as a car. Like, it's an electric car. My biggest takeaway was this is a good electric car. However, it doesn't have anything Tesla does as far as the technology. It had like a lane keeping system that worked fairly well, but it doesn't have everything that makes a Tesla a Tesla. So I was pretty happy with it. Like, if you're someone who's looking for an electric car and you're not worried about having all the technology and you're not worried about long distance travel because you don't have access to the supercharger network, I think it's probably a pretty good car just for, local driving within 100 miles of your house or something like that, where you don't have to worry too much about, long distance travel with relatively painless charging stops. And of course, you're not going to get anything like this. You're not going to get a lot of the extra features like, Netflix, which I actually use all the time, YouTube, that type of stuff. Of course, no full self-driving. So yeah, I came away impressed. Like, ignoring Tesla's existence, I think the Ford Mustang Mach-E is a great car. However, once you remember that this type of car exists, I mean, I could never actually buy it. But yeah, if there were no Tesla, I think it would probably be my next car. Okay, so the next thing here is an unprotected turn across this type of traffic. It's up at that Aldi sign on the left, if you can see that. So this traffic is, it's not like super heavy, but it's enough that it's definitely a challenge. My anticipation is I'm going to have to do an accelerator override when I see a gap in order to take the gap. Okay, so here's the left turn. This guy is a conflict, that guy's a conflict. We need to get in the lane now. We are not. There's traffic behind us. They had to slow. Okay, here's an opportunity. And okay, I didn't touch anything. Okay, that worked. A little bit. Okay, that was pretty good. There was an opportunity to take there as far as the traffic did have a gap for us, but that